And joining us now is attorney Arthur Aidala. Thank you, as always, for joining us. So you came in here saying you felt this was the best day yet for the defense. Why?
Well, I may be a little prejudiced because I was there today. I was in the courtroom. It's the first time that's ever happened. And I'll be absolutely honest. I went to go watch Susan Necheles. In the world of criminal law and criminal lawyers, she has a spectacular reputation. And I was going actually to be a student. I wanted to learn. I mean, it's a huge cross-examination. It's a difficult cross-examination. And what she proved was kind of what I know, is there's no substitute for preparation. And she was so prepared. It was inconsistent statement after inconsistent statement after inconsistent statement, basically going through all the different interviews, including her own book that Stormy Daniels wrote, and showing that, well, you said this on the stand on Tuesday, but in your book you said something different. And, when a witness gets caught in lies, the prosecution is the one that kind of bears the brunt of that, gets dirty with that. Because at the end, they're going to be able to say, look at the cast of characters they want you to rely upon. Stormy Daniels, she's not a good person. Her lawyer, he's another extortion artist, et cetera, et cetera. And the battling was great back and forth. I mean, those excerpts that you showed are great on the screen, but they were even a little more dramatic, a little more powerful in the courtroom. One line that really stood out, what Susan Necheles said, you, Stormy Daniels, are the author. You've written 150 pornographic scenes, right? And Stormy was very proud. Yes, I wrote them, and I produced them, and I directed them, and I started them. And Susan calmly said, so you know how to make up stories about sex, don't you? And that's when Stormy said, well, if I was making this up, I would have given you a better story. But it really showed the jury, well, this woman has done this 150 times, made up stories about sex. So that part was really great. And also, after she got off the stand, Madeleine Westerhouse testified. She was President Trump's secretary in the White House. And the prosecution basically called her just to talk about how the checks went back and forth from FedExing from New York to the White House. But while she was on direct, while she was the prosecution's witness, she all of a sudden, just on a tangent, started humanizing President Trump the way no witness has. Really talking about Melania. And Melania and him and their relationship, and how he would call her before he went on Marine One, look out the window, Melania, wave to me. And then towards the very end of direct, she just started crying. And then she felt bad about all of this, et cetera. And she made it clear she was there under subpoena. She's there with 2 lawyers. Stormy Daniels is there with 2 lawyers. I mean, Lindsey, typically in a courtroom, the witnesses don't have lawyers. It just shows you how different this trial is.
Do you think in the end, it was a win or a loss for the prosecution to call Stormy Daniels?
I think they had no choice. I think they had to call her. I don't think it moves the needle. I mean, I understand that the defense should make a motion for a mistrial. Every day they should make a motion for a mistrial.
And they did again today.
And they did again. And there was nothing so salacious. I mean, if it was a movie, it was like PG-13. I mean, it really wasn't even rated R, the stuff that she was saying. Another thing that was just totally didn't believable was like, and I went to the bathroom at our dinner, and when I came out of the bathroom, he was there just in boxers and a T-shirt, and I almost fainted. And Susan Necheles said, you've made 200 pornographic movies, and a man in his 60s in the boxers and a T-shirt, that made you faint? She's like, well, I just wasn't expecting it. It didn't come off as credible.
Before we run out of time, you mentioned the mistrials that you've said before. If you were doing it, you'd be making these calls every day. What did you think of the attempt today from the defense to claim, a mistrial was in order? Well,
listen, especially after the most recent decision in the Harvey Weinstein case where the Court of Appeals says they frown on this, they should harp on it. Listen, you have to try a case as a defense attorney expecting to lose and make your record for appeal, and that's exactly what they're doing.
No one else makes what happens inside a courtroom as exciting, as riveting as you, Arthur Aidala.
Wow, thank you, Lindsey. I appreciate that very much.
Always appreciate you coming on. Thank you
My pleasure.
so much.